And now, your host, Beth Ann.
And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It is my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. You know, sometimes it's what you don't hear. What didn't we hear during the campaign? You know, there's an old song. It says, "Silence is golden." It's about a man who knows this girl. He really cares for her a lot, and she's getting cheated on by her current boyfriend. But he cannot bring himself to say anything for the pain it might cause her, as well as her feelings of maybe malice toward him for telling her the truth. I know, you're saying, Beth, you're always chasing song lyrics, but it does bring me to wonder about the words we never hear during election campaigns. While certain so-called conservative leaders claim to be the voice of rural America, the voice of forgotten Americans, I say they're not. Perhaps they think they are, but what are the topics during the campaign? The Democrat candidates promised more chaos and obstruction. They promised continued attacks against our current administration. They promised to roll back on the accomplishments that he has made, like tax reform and deregulations, climate change battle, and which means more regulations. The Republican Party candidates always promise more tax reform, less spending. And this year, those who won promised to back the president. Again, the wall, the trade agreements, his foreign policies. What we never hear from either side is one word about property rights, private property. We never hear about protecting businesses, farmers and ranchers from outside radical environmental groups or the radical animal rights groups, such as the ASPCA and HSUS, the outside groups with agendas who aren't really about animal rights. They're about putting farmers and ranchers out of business. But you never hear Washington speak about these attacks on rural America. The attacks, it isn't just on their livelihoods, but it's against all Americans. You as a consumer, even if you're not a farmer or a rancher, you suffer as well. And if they have their way, you won't be able to afford any meat at the grocery store, if you can find it, if they really had their way. You won't be able to have the pets of your choice. The circus will be closed, and the magicians will no longer be able to pull a rabbit out of their hat. No, the big talking heads won't talk about this. They won't inform Americans of how these outside groups are attacking. And very seldom will you hear about how the government departments here to manage, they're here to help you, are failing. This fight, the fights with the BLM, the Forest Service, and some of these others that have attacked ranchers and farmers, the incarceration of innocent ranchers and the killing of them, thus the wildfires destroying homes, lives, and land due to the incompetence of the U.S. Forest Service. No, you don't hear about these things, not from the talking heads or from the campaign candidates. So, tell me how they are the voice of rural Americans. How are they the voice of the consumers, all the forgotten Americans, men and women? Their silence is golden, but there are those whose eyes still see. A month ago, we visited with Forrest Lucas. We marveled at his life story from rags to riches. I'm still thinking about that and talk about it every now and then. His struggles at the beginning and how he humbly mixed his special oils in his home garage. Just amazing. The struggles he had as a kid growing up. He learned how to garden, how to freeze and can. Forrest is aware of these unspoken infringements on we the people in rural America. And broadening from there, I want to mention the carriers across our highways, those who bring the food and supplies to you, the American truck drivers. All of these infringements affect all of us everywhere. Rural America is the foundation of all America. So attack on rural America is an attack on all America. Forrest is successful, but he hasn't forgotten from whence he came, his upbringing, and where he was in a rural America area. And I wanted to have him back on today to ask about a group he has been instrumental in organizing, and they have done so much for rural America. I know you've heard me mention them before. We've talked about them. There are two such groups, but today we're going to talk about Protect the Harvest. I really like that name, Protect the Harvest, which is founded by Forrest Lucas. Protect the Harvest knows and understands silence is not golden. Silence is vilifying the attack on rural America. Let me share just a bit before I bring him on with you their mission statement from Protect the Harvest. To inform, protect, and respond. Inform America's consumers, businesses, and decision makers about the threats posed by animal rights groups and anti-farming extremists. Protect our freedoms and way of life by creating lasting legal safeguards for farmers, ranchers, hunters, anglers, and animal owners. Respond to the activities of radical groups by opposing their efforts to pass laws or enact regulations that would restrict our rights, limit our freedoms, and hinder our access to safe and affordable food. Pretty much covers it all. And they have been fighting, and we have been fighting here. And there are others that you just don't hear about them out there from the talking heads or the campaigners. But this is a serious thing in this nation. And I want to bring on Forrest Lucas and thank him for all the work that he does. And I know that you're a busy man, and just to take the time out to help organize a group such as Protect the Harvest, I know that that's something extra that you do. How are you doing today, Forrest?
I'm okay.
You're okay? You don't sound it. Are you all right?
Yeah. I just I had to cough or I got something in my throat about the same time you finished up.
Timing is everything, isn't it?
This time. Oh, Beth Ann, I'll tell you what, you had a great interest there.
Well,
it really was.
Thank you. Well, you know, it's very near and dear to my heart, as I know it is to you. You cover a lot of things. I talk about a lot of things on the air, and sometimes I feel I fail I'm not really a talking head because I'm one that gets rich on this, but I sometimes think I fail at hitting this with the hammer constantly so that the listeners know and realize, that this is truly an important thing that we need to discuss. And this attack on rural America, the farmers, the ranchers, and small businesses, it is, I really believe, and I know you do too, that they are the foundation of this nation. Without our farmers and our ranchers, where would we be? Where would the truck drivers be? Where would the industries be? Where would the canneries be? Where would we be? The consumers, all of us. We all have to have what the farmers and ranchers produce. And so when they're attacked, it's attacking all of us. And go ahead.
You're right.
Well, when you established Protect the Harvest, how did you even come up with that idea, Forrest?
That's a good question.
I'm going to let you think about it because I had bad timing that time. I didn't realize we were just heading into a break. So I'll let you think about that. I want to talk about that some, and we'll talk about whatever else you want to talk about today. But I did want to bring this to the ears of my listeners because, we didn't hear anything about property rights during the campaigning. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. I'm visiting today with Forrest Lucas of Lucas Oil. It's made in the USA and sold worldwide. And also Protect the Harvest. Forrest and Beth Ann, we're going to be right back.